All right, so if you've been on Reddit over the last month or so, you've seen quite a few posts going after cryptocurrency farms and how they're bad for the environment and that sort of thing. So I just kind of want to break down what's going on with the issue, why we need these crypto farms, why they're necessary, and kind of the advantages that we have by these crypto farms running. So first of all, before we get into anything, I just want to say I'm just speaking generally. This is just kind of applies generally to cryptocurrencies. So, certain coins do things a little bit differently. So that's just why I'm kind of speaking generally. I kind of want to get as much of them wrapped up into this video as much as possible. Of course, this is going to be kind of mostly applicable to the big coins that are going around like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I'm just kind of generally speaking as to how things work, and some of them may do things a little bit differently. So, cryptocurrencies operate on a blockchain technology. So, how that works is basically imagine that every time you send currency to someone else, it gets written down in a log. Obviously, this is a virtual log, so if I wanted to send some to my buddy Patrick, I would, go up to if it was a physical thing, maybe it would be like a blackboard, and that's how we kept track of our money. I would go up to the blackboard and I'd say, Mizix sends $2 to my man Patrick, right? And then everyone else would look at the board and say, okay, so now he's down $2, and then he's up $2, right? And that's the basic idea of it. So everyone has to download this, and everyone can download this. It's open source, but if you want to if you want to send it without using some sort of third-party service, so if you use Coinbase or something like that, or Binance, they have the ledger downloaded on them. Obviously, you don't got to download the whole ledger. It's actually getting to be a really big file now. Earlier, before crypto was huge, like before 2016, it was actually a pretty small file. It was only like a couple gigs, and you could easily download it, and you could just look at all the transactions. But now that there's a lot more people into it, a lot more transactions, it's a lot bigger. So someone has to maintain that, right? Because it's open to everyone. Every time something gets sent, it gets added to the log, and it has a certain order to it, and it takes computing power to maintain that log, and also to maintain the network to allow you to send your Bitcoin or your cryptocurrency to other people's wallets. So what a crypto farm does is it allows people to access the network. They just send it to other people, and then these crypto farms, they use their computing power to solve the problem of getting it from one person to the other. And obviously, whenever you send, for those of you that don't know or don't really use cryptocurrency, there is something called a network fee. You lose some of your currency when you send it over the network because they have to give it to these people who are running these farms that are allowing you to send your cryptocurrency to other people. And so basically, it's like an open source server. So if you play Minecraft or Halo or any other game, obviously Microsoft has their own servers set up, or some third party. In the case of Minecraft, some third party has a server set up somewhere, and it's just a computer that is running the server software that allows you to connect and play the game. So it's the same thing that's going on here with these crypto farms, except it's not like a company, it's just like a dude, or like, some dude who owns a company who owns all of these computers that are just server farms, and all they do is they just run all day, and they help out the network of whatever cryptocurrency they happen to be involved in. So there's software that you can just put on your computer, and when you're not using your computer, it'll just turn on this software, and it'll mine for you, and it'll run these server farms, and that's basically it. It's just computers that are running to keep these networks going, and it's to keep the blockchain going, and it allows you to send your cryptocurrency to other people. And that's what people don't like, is because obviously when you're running a bunch of computers, that takes a bunch of energy. So that's how it's ran, basically. Obviously, it works better in scale. Like if you get a whole building and you just are able to cool the whole building and just pack that thing jam full of computers running these softwares that allow the network to keep going. Obviously, that's more profitable than if you just have one graphics card in your computer that's running the software. And so that's what people are against, is these huge companies setting up these big buildings. But obviously, economies of scale would dictate that when you go big like that, you're able to make a lot more money than just buying a couple individual computers. So why is it important? It takes away government control of currency. So the government can basically just keep pumping money into currency whenever they want. So obviously this year we've had a bunch of inflation, and you see that because the government just keeps pumping money into the economy, and they just did it again. They just pumped another couple trillion with this infrastructure bill. So that's why you see people. So you mostly see the left or socialists going after these farms on the grounds of an environmental concern, and that's because they need the government to control the currency for them to get their agenda done. So that's why you see these people pushing the hardest to get these currency farms shut down. So, the government, if these farms keep running, the government has less control over your currency because you have other options. Obviously, throughout history, it's always been kings or countries or whoever's in charge gets to pick the currency that we use. Well, when we're using technology, it can just be an open source thing where it's just a couple, not a couple server farms, but it's just everyone with a graphics card. Whenever they're not using it, they can turn it on, and they can become, a profiteer of the currency system. They can help it out and get some currency in return. And so obviously the government doesn't like it when other people control their currency, because they like to be able to inflate it and deflate it when they want to. They want to be able to raise taxes to whatever they want it to and make it impossible for you to do anything but pay those high taxes. However, if there's some sort of third-party form of currency, it challenges them, and they can't actually verify how much money you have if it's all in some locked up encrypted bank account that they don't have access to. Which obviously, if you're trying to take a bunch of people's money and do stuff like, pay a bunch of people who may or may not be here legally, then you need the government to be in control of the money, which is why you see those people going after these crypto farms. So that's basically it. I tried to break it down in as general terms so it can be applicable to as many cryptocurrencies as possible, but also kind of get into details as far as blockchain and why we need the crypto farms. Obviously, you can check this out yourself. There's calculators online that you can see if you can run one of these. I don't want to call it a farm if it's just your own computer, but you can mine for these cryptocurrencies on your own. There's calculators online. You can just input the cost of power, input, what kind of hardware you have, and it'll tell you how much money you're going to make, or give you an estimate at least. And obviously, if the price of crypto goes up, the more money you're going to make. If it goes down, you're going to make less money. If the price of power is high, you're going to make less. That kind of thing.
Behind you.